KNOE-TV 8, Monroe, West Monroe.
Live from the Television News Center in Monroe, Cynthia Milton with news. Mike Bitts and Larry Rhymes with weather. And Brett Bullers with sports. This is the TV8 News Weekend Report, your #1 choice for news.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. A 3-vehicle accident in West Monroe has sent 4 people to the hospital. State police say around 2 o'clock, a pink Nissan truck headed northbound on Washington Street when a black Chrysler ran the stop sign at West Olive. The impact caused the 2 vehicles to slam into another truck on East Olive. 3 children and 1 adult were transported to Glenwood Medical Center. There were no serious injuries. Police ticketed the driver of the Chrysler for failure to yield at a stop sign. A Louisiana Tech student died yesterday in a 1-vehicle accident. State police say 13-year-old Amy McGuire of Minden was traveling at a high rate of speed eastbound on Highway 303 about 2.5 miles south of Sinsboro. She lost control of the vehicle. The car ran off the right side of the road and then to the left side, striking a tree. McGuire was transported to Lincoln General Hospital, where she was pronounced dead on arrival. Police say alcohol use is not suspected. Ouachita Parish Sheriff's Department still has no lead in the murder of a teenager found dead in her Tanglewood home Friday afternoon. The victim's body was found stabbed to death around 3:30. The Sheriff's Department is not releasing the victim's name because she is a juvenile. Deputy Jay Russell says investigators so far have no motive for that killing. A North Louisiana woman is the state's newest millionaire. 43-year-old Margaret Dobson from Hogton, Louisiana, won the $1 million prize in Louisiana's second Super Draw. It was held today at Pecanland Mall. 5 finalists who competed in the $1 million drawing were selected from the Lotto Instant Scratch-Off game. All of today's finalists walked home winners. The remaining 4 received 1 of 4 prizes, including $10,000, $15,000, $30,000, or $100,000. But today's top prize winner says she has big plans.
She needs to retire, but she couldn't afford it, and this will help her. And my dad he needs a lot of attention, and just do the best I can for everybody.
The next Lotto Super Draw will be held February 11th with a preliminary drawing on January 29th. Employees of Monroe manufacturing plants in Monroe are fighting for better working conditions and wages. Today, a group of employees took their message to customers of local retail stores. Last June, over 575 Mini-Talk workers joined a clothing and textile union, but they say Mini-Talk has refused to recognize them. Employees are hoping today's efforts will encourage customers and retail managers to support their plight. Monroe Manufacturing has plastic goods carried by many local stores. And still ahead, some good news concerning the U.S. economy. And Clinton prepares to take his first steps towards breaking the Washington gridlock. More news in a moment.
Hi folks, Chuck Redden from All Hits FM 102. I'm inside the vault at First National Bank's newest location, 1905 North 7th Street in West Monroe. How'd you like to have all this cash? Up to $5,000 could be yours in our Dash for Cash. It's coming up the 21st of November. How do you get qualified? Come by here and register at this location, 1905 North 7th Street, West Monroe, and listen each morning to FM 102. You could be the one making the Dash for Cash. 27.
You have been found guilty on all counts. Your sentence, death in the electric chair.
Next, Donahue, the secretive, shadowy world of legal executions. How do those who pull the switch cope with their deadly duties? Get an inside look at America's death industry as we reveal the chilling realities of the condemned and their executioners. Next, Donahue.
Monday morning at 9 on TV8.
Some good news to report concerning the U.S. economy. Some government figures released this week show it could be on the upswing. Jim Dexter has that and more in the Week in Business.
Just as they were putting up the Christmas trees, it began to look like the Christmas shopping season might be something to celebrate. Retail sales rose 0.9 of a percentage point in October.
It looks like it could be the best Christmas in about 3 years.
There were other joyous tidings. New claims for unemployment benefits dipped for the 6th straight week to the lowest level in more than 2 years. still, your sense of job security depended on where you worked. The picture at the last U.S.-based television maker got a little dimmer as Zenith tried to renegotiate its bank credit to avoid a cash crunch. And there was no kidding around at KinderCare when the child care company filed for reorganization. Continental Airlines may become the proud bird with a Canadian accent. As part of its reorganization plan, the bankrupt carrier tentatively accepted a buyout offer from AirCanada and 2 U.S. investors. In Detroit, the executives seem to be changing faster than the car models. Amid top-level shifts at GM and Chrysler, Ford had some new ideas. Among the changes, Alexander Trotman will replace retiring Ford president Philip Benson.
With Ford's retirement, we've made some adjustments in our senior management team that include an expanded office of the chief executive. It is this management team that will lead Ford Motor Company during these difficult times and on into the future.
The Federal Trade Commission is taking a dim view of some GE light bulbs. Under FTC pressure, GE admitted its special energy-saving light bulbs aren't as bright as ordinary bulbs. Was a sneaker company too sneaky, or was it just a pumped-up controversy? L.A. Gear agreed to pay $1 million to Reebok for infringing on its patent for inflatable shoes. Moving from inflating to deflating, SlimFast decided to promote its products by putting the people of Pound, Wisconsin on a community diet. It took 4 months, but looking at the figures on the scales, the weight was worth the wait. At this rate, Pound will be an ounce in no time. That was the Week in Business. I'm Jim Dexter, CNN reporting.
Turning to politics, President-elect Bill Clinton is once again taking it easy this weekend. He started the day with an early morning jog and golf game. He's likely to spend some time meeting with members of his transition team at the Arkansas governor's mansion. Later in the week, Clinton travels to Washington to meet with President Bush and lawmakers from both majority parties. But first, Clinton is scheduled to meet with Vice President-elect Al Gore, the Speaker of the House, and Senate and House majority leaders tomorrow for what is said to be the first step towards breaking the gridlock in Washington. About 150,000 people marched peacefully through Bonn, Germany today to protest neo-Nazi violence and anti-Semitism. The march contrasts last Sunday's rally in Berlin, where several hundred leftist radicals hurled eggs at German leaders. Many marchers wore headbands reading Nazis out and held banners rejecting government plans to change the constitutional guarantee of political asylum. Some foreigners joined the march. A 10-year-old Turkish boy says he feels threatened in Germany, but is too dangerous to return home. Germany has been rocked by 3 months of virtually daily attacks by right-wing extremists on foreign and asylum seekers. Czechoslovakia is paying its last respects to Alexander Dubček. The man is credited with trying to reform communism in the spring of 1968. He's being laid to rest today. The 70-year-old Dubček died a week ago of injuries he suffered in a car accident 6 weeks ago. Mourners today filled a square for his funeral amid tensions over the impending breakup of Czechoslovakia. It's said that Paris is the city of love, but not for Britain's Prince Charles and Princess Diana. Diana visited French President Mitterrand and his wife yesterday, while Charles stayed home in England. Palisades say Diane's 3-day trip is to learn more about French charities, but there are reports the solo trip is the start of a formal separation between the royal couple. The Lover is the story of a romance between a young French girl and an older man. It's a big hit with the French, but how will it fare among Americans? Dennis Cunningham takes a look at the movie's chances in this week's movie review.
Lover is a movie which for some time now has been a big, huge movie hit in France, and of course MGM is dearly hoping the same thing happens here in the US of A. That is not, however, very likely, it seems to me. You see, in France, the book on which the film is based is a very popular one, as is the author of that book, Marguerite Duras, whose true life story this is, or a portion of her life, or so she claims anyway. So in a way, the movie arrived in France heavily pre-sold. In addition, though this is a beautifully done film and heavy with torrid sex, I say, I think most Americans will eventually find it all rather dull going. The director, Jean-Jacques Annaud, is to be congratulated for the visual glory of his movie making, but he cannot, I'm afraid, breathe life into the two leading performers, most especially the young lady, who's especially vacant, actually, but because she's a British model and she's not really an actress at all, and you can easily see that. And the final four makes this, I guess, a not very irresistible lover. I'm Dennis Cunningham for CBS News.
It's that time of year when cooler temperatures begin moving in. When it's cold outside, taking steps to stay warm inside could save you money. Steve Kosh offers some tips on winterizing your home.
Apartments, condos, houses are all designed to provide shelter, a safe haven from winter's worst. However, if your abode is not properly winterized, it's like inviting winter right into your living room. But there are some things you can do to keep Old Man Winter outside.
With reports that this may be a harsh winter, I want to make sure my home is properly winterized. I've gotten some extra insulation for the attic. I picked up some weather stripping to help knock down some of the air drafts, and some caulking to go around the windows, and also some fresh filters for the heater. I figure the investment now will be well worth it come January.
The attic is where your largest savings is. Naturally, you know, your heat rises to the top. And if you got a good insulation in your attic, you can save like, 30% on your heating.
An easy-paced weekend of winterizing your home, caulking, installing storm windows, adding door sweeps, and changing heating filters should save the average homeowner $300 to $500 a year in utility payments. Anyone can do these projects. Store personnel, as well as do-it-yourself books, provide step-by-step instructions.
It's not a real major job. It might look big, but it's not.
So throw your attic a blanket, and you'll enjoy a warmer winter.
And to join us to tell us whether we'll be getting any winter-like temperatures this weekend is Mike Pitts.
Well, not anytime soon. It was kind of cool this morning, but not quite so cold in the morning, and I think a nice day tomorrow.
And we'll tell you all about that in just a moment.
The weather is brought to you by Daniel Appliance, your complete Whirlpool appliance dealer.
Hello. Daniel Appliance and Furniture has just received a truckload of Frigidaire freezers. If you're in the market for an upright freezer or a chest freezer, we've got it. From a 5 cubic foot to a 26 cubic foot. And guaranteed low prices, free delivery, 90 days, same as cash. You can't beat Daniel Appliance freezer specials. Come see us, Daniel Appliance, 913 Louisville Avenue in Monroe. And don't forget, folks, these are the best freezer prices we've ever had.
Back now for a more extended look at this weekend's weather.
Okay, and we'll take a look first at the current conditions at the airport right now. It's 61 degrees. The relative humidity stands at 43%. Southwesterly winds at 8, and the barometer is at 30.27 and steady. And as we look at some other temperatures around the area, mostly in that low to mid 60 degree range, quite pleasant around here actually. This afternoon, after a rather cold morning, temperatures dipping down to near the freezing mark around much of North Louisiana and southern Arkansas, but it won't be quite so cold in the morning. Temperatures should make it down into the upper 30s, and a real nice day shaping up for tomorrow. In the meantime, though, we'll look at the satellite map for this evening. Fair skies across most of the lower Mississippi Valley, a bit of cloud cover down to the south, but fair conditions prevail across most of the south central area and up toward the midsection of the country. And no rain showing up as we go to the radar plot in that cloud mass down to the south of us. It's a dry scan from TV8 Sky Scan. The radar site's not picking up much of anything around the southern part of the country, actually. It's generally nice weather around the vast majority of the country. We'll see a different story far to the north in just a moment. Cloud cover showing up across the Great Lakes, frontal activity across the northern portion of the nation, especially through the northeast. And snow was the key word today across parts of Illinois and Indiana into the northeastern corner of the country. In fact, some significant amounts of snowfall up that way along a frontal boundary, one of the major features on the national map. Down to the south, though, it's high pressure that continues to dominate the weather, bringing us some very pleasant conditions around here, and that should be the case for the next couple of days. skies, as we see mostly fair skies across our area and westward across the Central Plains, Texas, and out toward the southwest as well. On the map for this evening, a little frontal activity, as we mentioned, up toward the north. The radar plot indicating that rain and some snow mixed in with that as well up toward the Ohio Valley and now shifting in toward the New England states. Across the south, radar sites not picking up much of anything at all, just a little light rain around southern Texas. Other than that, it's just one vast area of clear skies across our area, the Central Plains, all the way to the Pacific coast. And the major reason for that, high pressure continues to dominate the weather. It brought us a nice northerly flow into the area. It has for the last couple of days, and temperatures warmed up to around the 60-degree mark around here today. Mid-60s, that is, and we should make it into the mid-60s again tomorrow. Nighttime lows down into the 30s, but not down into the low 30s. For this evening, we'll see upper 30-degree readings for lows during the morning hours, 40s and 50s to the south of us across South Louisiana and southern Texas, while in contrast to that, a bitterly cold night across the north-central region. Temperatures down into the single digits across the Great Lakes and into the northern plains during the early morning hours. And the map for tomorrow and for Monday, high pressure still hangs on, so we will see a continuation of dry weather and temperatures will warm up. This high will eventually slide on into the southeast, and we'll see a more southerly flow toward the early part of the coming week, and temperatures will gradually warm up, mid-60s, even around the 70-degree mark expected for daytime highs for Monday and Tuesday, and no rain in the foreseeable future anyway. And the immediate forecast looks pretty good, calling for partly cloudy skies to mostly fair for tonight. Look for lows dipping down into the upper 30s. Winds should be light and variable, and tomorrow should be a gorgeous day. Highs in the mid to upper 60-degree range, partly cloudy skies. Winds out of the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And for tomorrow night, fair lows in the lower 40s. For Monday, more nice weather coming our way. Look for fair skies and highs around the 70-degree mark. So nice weather ahead for the next couple of days. I think tomorrow surely should be absolutely gorgeous.
I look forward to those 70-degree days. Not a cold weather person.
In-house.
And visions of a bowl invitation still linger in Tech's head?
Well, we have good news and bad news. I'll leave it to at that till we come back.
Okay, and we'll reveal more in just a moment. Stay with us.
The weather was brought to you by Daniel Appliance, your complete Whirlpool appliance dealer.
I'm back now for a look at that Tech invitation and some other sports.
That, and we'll see how Grambling did as well. Well, Louisiana Tech still hangs on to hopes of a bowl invitation, but for the Dogs to qualify, they must win their final 2 games. Teams must have 6 wins against Division I-A teams to be eligible for postseason. Tech entered today's game against Ole Miss at 5-4, but 1 win came against Division I-AA East Tennessee State. So we go to the board to see if Tech indeed has a shot at a bowl, and they don't. Ole Miss knocks off Louisiana Tech 13-6. The Bulldogs dropped to 5-5. That means they're eliminated from any bowl invitation at all. And Ole Miss will get an invitation to the Liberty Bowl. Tech does have 1 game remaining. It is at West Virginia. From there, we'll check out and see how Grambling did. The G-men do very well. They win over Florida A&M 27-10. The Tigers improved to 8-2 on the year. They are 5-1 in the SWAC. Coach Rob and crew wrap up the season in 2 weeks against Southern at the Bayou Classic in New Orleans. Grambling could be #1 in the nation in the Sheridan poll after today's win. Big days for Eric Gant, 21 carries, 102 yards. Get this, Ron Dyson,